The sirens had already faded by the time Aiden Reyes tightened his jacket around his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, who was clinging to his leg as if the world would swallow her without him. He worked double night shifts as a warehouse loader just to keep their tiny apartment, and tonight was supposed to be a quick walk home after buying Lily her favorite warm milk bun. But nothing about the night went as planned. They had turned the corner near the old bus stand and heard a muffled cry, a girl, maybe 16, trying to pull herself away from 2 grown men. Aiden told Lily to stay behind him and stepped forward because something inside him refused to let him walk away. He didn't think. He didn't calculate. He just moved. One man swung at him, but Aiden was faster. Maybe it was adrenaline. Maybe it was anger. Maybe it was the memory of all the times he wished someone had protected him when he was younger. He fought with everything he had, taking hits, throwing punches, shielding the teenage girl as she crawled to safety. By the time the police arrived, both men were on the ground and Aiden was bleeding from his eyebrow. Lily had been crying into his shirt, and the girl, Emily, kept whispering, thank you, sir," over and over again. A hero, they called him. But Aiden didn't feel like one. He felt tired. Sore. Worried how he would explain the bruises at work, afraid they might cut his shifts again. Being a single father never left room for mistakes, not even heroic ones. And yet, when they finally got home, Lily hugged him so tight he could barely breathe. "Daddy," she whispered, "please, always help people like that." He wiped her tears and nodded with a soft smile. "I will, as long as I can still come home to you." Aiden had no idea that this promise, simple, innocent, was about to change the course of his life. Chapter 1. The morning sun crept through the blinds, lighting up the small but cozy apartment that Aiden and Lily called home. Lily hummed as she ate her cereal, wearing her mismatched socks and the pink hoodie she adored. Aiden, trying to hide the pain in his ribs, packed her lunchbox and slipped a small note inside, like he always did, telling her he loved her and to be brave. He thought the drama of the previous night was over. He thought life would return to normal. He was wrong. A loud knock rattled the door. Not a neighbor's knock. Not friendly. Sharp. Intentional. Aiden tensed instantly. He opened the door slowly, ready to apologize for noise he didn't make or for rent he wasn't late on. Instead, he froze. A man in an expensive suit, charcoal-tailored, crisp white shirt, silver tie, stood there with the authority of someone who owned everything he touched. His expression was unreadable, but his eyes had a fire in them. "Aiden Reyes?" the man asked. "Yes," Aiden stepped back slightly. "Can I help you?" Lily peeked from behind him, holding her plush fox. The man softened for a split second at the sight, then looked back at Aiden. "My name is Nathaniel Cross," he said. "CEO of Cross-Stitch Industries." Aiden blinked, confused. He had heard the name, of course. Everyone had. Billionaire. Genius. Ruthless in business. People joked he didn't have a heart. "I don't understand," Aiden said. Nathaniel exhaled deeply, almost as if he didn't want to be here. "The girl you saved last night, Emily Cross, is my daughter." The world seemed to stop. Lily gripped Aiden's hand. Aiden didn't know what to say, and Nathaniel didn't wait for him to. "She told me everything," he continued. "And I am here because you did what my security team failed to do." This wasn't gratitude in his tone. This was guilt mixed with desperation. Nathaniel looked around the small, worn apartment, the cracked paint, the hand-me-down furniture, the little table Aiden had repaired 5 times, and something shifted in his expression. "Aiden," he said, "I want to talk. Somewhere private. It concerns last night, and something more." Aiden hesitated. The man was a stranger. A billionaire stranger. But then he saw Lily looking up at him, trusting him without question. He nodded slowly. "Okay. Let me drop Lily at school." Nathaniel surprised him by kneeling down to Lily's height, lowering his voice. "Your dad is a brave man," he told her. "And whatever happens today, he deserves the world to know it." Lily smiled shyly. "He's my hero." Aiden's throat tightened. He didn't know why, but something about the CEO's presence felt less like a threat and more like the beginning of something unstoppable. As soon as Lily skipped off toward her classroom, Nathaniel motioned to a black SUV waiting nearby. Get in. There's something you need to hear. Aiden climbed into the SUV, still unsure why fate had chosen his ordinary life for such extraordinary chaos. Nathaniel took a deep breath. The men you fought last night weren't random criminals, he said quietly. They were hired. Aiden stiffened. Hired, for what? Nathaniel met his eyes. Someone wanted to hurt my daughter. And now that you intervened, they'll want to hurt you too. Aiden's heart dropped like a stone. He wasn't just a man who helped a girl anymore. He was part of something far bigger, and far more dangerous. And Lily, his sweet little Lily, was suddenly in the center of a storm he never asked for. But Aiden had always been a fighter. For her. Always for her. He clenched his fists, already preparing to do whatever it took. Tell me everything, he said. From the beginning. Chapter 2. Nathaniel led Aiden into his towering glass office, overlooking the entire city. Everything about the place was polished, calculated, powerful. Aiden felt out of place instantly, his worn boots tapping against marble. Nathaniel poured a glass of water for him, a small gesture, but meaningful, and then activated a screen showing security footage. Emily. Laughing with friends. Leaving a cafe. Walking alone. Then, the two men following her. Aiden felt anger surge through him. Who would want to hurt a kid, he demanded. Nathaniel rubbed his forehead, his mask of control slipping. My company, he whispered, has enemies. Competitors. People who want leverage. Emily is my only family. He looked at Aiden with something between shame and admiration. And you protected her better than anyone I've ever hired. The words hung heavy. Aiden thought of Lily, of her tiny fingers clutching his shirt last night, and suddenly the danger felt very real. What happens now? Aiden asked. Nathaniel stood, his voice firm. I am assigning security to both you and your daughter. You're involved now, whether you want to be or not. Aiden expected fear to grip him. Instead, he felt resolve. Lily comes first, he said fiercely. Always. Nathaniel nodded, as if he completely understood that kind of love. Over the next hours, they discussed threats, motives, possible suspects. But something unexpected happened, something deeper. Nathaniel saw in Aiden a man who had lost everything yet still loved fiercely. Aiden saw in Nathaniel a father terrified of failing his daughter. Two completely different worlds, but the same heart. By evening, they visited Emily at the hospital. She lit up when she saw Aiden. You saved my life, she whispered. No, Aiden said gently. I just did what anyone should. But no one else did, she replied, squeezing his hand. Nathaniel's eyes softened. Later, as Aiden prepared to leave, Nathaniel stopped him at the door. Aiden, he said quietly, I want to offer you a job. Aiden froze. A job? Head of personal security, Nathaniel said. For my daughter. And, eventually, for this company. Aiden stared at him. Why me? Nathaniel smiled faintly. Because you fight like a man with something to lose. And those are the only men I trust. Aiden thought of Lily. Of the bruises he wore for strangers. Of the future he wanted for her. And for the first time in years, hope flickered. I'll do it, he said. But only if my daughter's safety is guaranteed. Always, Nathaniel promised. They shook hands. Two fathers. Two worlds. One choice that would change everything. As Aiden walked out into the night, the city lights glowing beneath him, he whispered to himself, Lily, your daddy is going to build us a better life. And far away, watching from the shadows, a new threat emerged, one that had just realized the man they should fear most wasn't the billionaire. It was the single dad who had already proven he would take down anyone to protect what he loved.